Strive for improvement, time for the blueprint. Minds to elevate, thrive, and demonstrate, planting a movement. Sow the seeds, educate the flourish, building up the team. Our network with purpose, industry is green. We've only scratched the surface, know this call is deep. Nobody gon' outwork us. Yeah, we chasing greatness, trying to give the code. Moving up with patience, foundation stone. Doing what it takes, we're here to break the mold. This for anyone who wanna level up, let's grow.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Plant Movement Podcast. Guys, I hope you are doing well. I hope you're enjoying all of the content that we're putting out. Eddie's working hard, man. This guy's slaving away day and night back here, making it happen, guys. But we're doing it because we're pumped for the green industry and the future of it. And to just continue on that, we're blessed to have a doctor in the house that's not just any doctor. She's someone very, very important here in South Florida in the ornamental plant space. We have Miss Dr. Alexandra. She's gonna introduce her because her last name, I don't want to massacre it here. How are you, doctor? Everything
Hi,
good?
Willie. Thank you.
You're gonna be doctor during this podcast.
Oh no. So yeah, my name is Alexandra Revynthi, and I originally come from Greece, and this is why his last name is a little bit difficult.
That's cool. That's cool. So you speak 2 languages, 3 languages?
5.
5 languages.
5 in total.
Wow.
Not very fluent in all 5, but yeah, I can get my.
What do you speak?
Of course, Greek, English, Spanish, Dutch, and German.
Wow, that's very interesting. That's very cool. You don't meet people every day that speak 5 languages. So that's very interesting. And then you are, what is it that you're doing currently, your position? You work at TREC, which is an extension of UF, the college of UF, the university.
Exactly, yeah. So I work for the University of Florida at the Tropical Research and Education Center, and I am the ornamental entomologist and acarologist of the station. So I handle all the pests that infest and cause damage to ornamental plants, and they can be either insects or mites.
Yeah, so yeah, your job is super important. There's so many things I want to get into. What is one of the things that you guys are currently working on now at TREC that is an issue for nurseries? And we can start the podcast there, and then we'll get into what you do.
Well, I think the most important pressing issue nowadays is the Thrips parvispinus.
Okay.
Soon it's going to be named officially as the short-spined thrips.
Okay.
We are filing the common name with the ESA, which is the Entomological Society of America. This is a very small insect. It's an invasive pest. It also triggers quarantines.
Okay.
And it can infest several different ornamental plants and causes a lot of damage.
Okay, which plants? Which ones have you seen?
Mostly so far gardenias, mandevillas, ixoras, dipladenias. We have seen it on cephleras, ruelias, Mexican petunias. Okay. These are like the
main ones.
Tops. Yeah.
Wow. So this is what used to be the pepper thrip, is what you were explaining earlier.
Yes.
And now they're making a real, like a solid name for it.
Yes, exactly. Because these thrips can feed on peppers, and this is why initially colleagues from Europe called it pepper thrips, but it does not stay only on pepper, so it would have been misleading.
Okay.
So the proposed name is going to have actually a description of its scientific names, which means that it has short spines.
Wow.
And this is how.
And this is just one of many different thrips.
Yes, that's true. We have several.
Several down here.
Yes.
So guys, she is basically one of the main leaders of the issues that are going on here in the motherland of plants, which is down here in South Florida. Her job is extremely important. You work a lot with the bigger growers, the bigger companies out here, really catching from the front lines. So when spring comes, they can actually make sales. That's so important. 85% of tropical plants are either brought in from here or start off their life here and then go to the rest of the country. So when you're looking at all of that, guys, and then you have thrips and you have all these different, and it's not just one thrip, it's a bunch of different things, thrips and then other things. She plays a huge role in allowing those sales to even happen, because plants get quarantined, like she was saying, and then people can't make any sales happen during that time. You can't sell the product, you can't move it because they don't want contamination and like the spreading of everything. So she has a very very big job. How did you get into this? Because you're from Greece. So let's go back. You're in Greece. You're a little girl. How'd you end up over here? What'd you study over there? What caught your attention in plants or green industry, bugs, whatever it is that moves you?
Yeah, well, in Greece, I did my undergraduate studies in agronomy, so I'm an
Okay.
agriculturist by
Okay.
training, and I really loved plants. This is why I wanted to follow that path since I was 11 years old.
Wow.
And then when I entered in the university, my initial plan was to work on ornamental plants and ornamental plant production because I really liked ornamental plants. But I had very good teachers in entomology and acarology. So actually, I fell in love with the study of mites, which is called
Okay.
acarology. And then I continued my further graduate studies focusing on mites and
Okay.
actually invasive mites for Greece at that time.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I moved to the Netherlands to continue do my PhD and focus more on mite behavior and biological control, but working on ornamentals. In this case, it was roses.
Okay. Roses. Okay.
So when I came to the United States, which was always a dream for me because I wanted to have this experience of a very big country which is successful in so many ways, including ornamental production, I had the opportunity to work on different projects that involved invasive pests on ornamental plants.
What when you got here?
Yes.
Okay. And that was through TREC?
Yes, it was through TREC. I was hired as a postdoctoral researcher initially. My first postdoc was actually a collaboration with USDA APHIS.
Okay.
So I worked there as a cooperator, and I learned a lot about imports, how what APHIS is doing to prevent invasive species from coming in, all the inspections that they're taking place, the treatments that they develop in order to
Okay.
keep all this invasive out.
Wow.
And then
So
myself,
you're learning from yeah.
that was a big,
Wow.
big school for me.
That is.
It showed me basically all the operation from the USDA, how they're doing their best to keep these invasives out
Wow.
of the country. And then the second postdoc was really purely focused on invasive pests of nursery products that they could have been ornamentals, but in some cases they were also tropical fruit crops. So in the beginning I worked on the lychee nose mite,
Okay.
which was an invasive mite pest of lychee trees.
Oh wow.
But there was a very large production of propagation materials that was done in nurseries. So I was also involved in this, and then we had the new invasive hibiscus bat weevil appearing in South Florida, devastating the hibiscus industry in the area. So I was lucky that I could be there under the guidance of Dr. Manion at that time to work on it and try to help the industry.
Wow. Yeah. So yeah, oh, man. I just go back like it's crazy that your niche stayed with ornamental plants from when you were a little girl. You're still doing it today, and the impact that you guys make is very big. You're involved in so much. The USDA, like that learning of just how the operations are helps you guys so much because now you know what you got to do over here to make sure that everything's smooth over there. And the guidance, and you also sit on the board of the FNGLA where you talk about all the different findings and research and stuff that you guys are doing, religiously every single day. So we thank you for that. Talk to us about what you do at TREC because it's very interesting. And there are people that we talk about this here on our podcast is how there's so many different ways to get involved in what is known as the green industry. Some people think of it as grabbing a lawnmower and doing lawn maintenance. And then there's people like yourself that take something that they really like, which is plants, and then they find a cure. It's like a little kid wanting to be a veterinarian because they love animals. It's the same concept. And here you are as a woman today doing something for an industry as a leader. Talk to us about TREC, and because that's very interesting, on what you guys do to be able to do what you do. What is TREC, first of all? Can you explain to us what TREC is?
Well, TREC is a research station that is part of the University of Florida that is dedicated to tropical and subtropical fruit crops and also ornamental plants, but it also has some aspects that deal with soil, fertilization, and even water sciences.
Oh, wow.
So TREC is very diverse and has an assembly of bright scientists that they are excellent experts in their fields, and we try to work together in order to help the agriculture in the area, but also in the state.
Okay.
So what we do in the ornamental entomology and acarology lab, we are trying to help them, green industry, the ornamental industry, to overcome the challenges that they face regarding pests
Okay.
of plants. We do understand that the thresholds for aesthetic damage to ornamentals is almost zero, right? So we worked with this in mind always. And most of the times, because South Florida is really exposed to invasive pests, in most cases we respond to these invasive pests that they are new and they are causing a lot of harm to the ornamental industry. In some cases, however, we see established pests that they have been here for many years, such as spider mites, being a critical issue for the industry. So we do not neglect these pests, and we also try to find solutions for those as well.
Okay.
So the aim of the program is to develop integrated pest management programs, which are programs that they deploy several different tools in order to control and mitigate effectively and sustainably a pest.
Okay.
And we do that for mites and insects, but of course thinking the reality and how the industry works and how the clients want to see their plants. So we always tailor our recommendations having this in the back of our mind. We're trying to propose and recommend tools for control of pests that they can actually be applicable and useful for the industry.
Yeah, in a good way where the product doesn't get damaged, and then there's also high revenues and sales to keep everything rolling. Oh no, you guys play a very big part. So your day is consisted of going out and finding things. I know people bring you things as well, right? New findings, and so you guys are basically spending time doing more research on how to control it with what's out there available, meaning like pesticides. And
It varies. It varies based on the pest. It can vary also based on the regulation, because when there is a regulation, we are more limited. Indeed, through the plant diagnostic clinic or through collaborations with the extension office that is nearby TREC, we receive a lot of samples, and my lab screens those samples for insect and mite pests if they are on an ornamental plant.
okay.
So this is what we do. It has happened in the past that we had several series of field experiments trying to develop monitoring tools using traps for the weevil. So we sometimes do on-farm research
Okay.
when it is feasible and permittable.
Okay.
Chemical control and biological control experiments, especially when we work with regulated pests, are always conducted within the lab or in a greenhouse,
Okay.
because they require permitting and we are restricted. We cannot be the source of spreading a regulated pest. So we follow the rules, have the appropriate permits from FTAX DPI, and we operate under these very strict guidelines.
Because you guys are working with the pest. It might be a pest that's controlled, but you guys have it there.
Yes.
So you guys can work with it and see. It's very interesting. It's very cool to me. It's just like a doctor, guys, like anybody. They see what's wrong and see what's available to help fix it. When it comes to controlling pests, from what you've seen, I know there's different methods. Can you talk to us about different methods of application?
Yes. So when we talk about doing an integrated pest management program for a pest, it means that we deploy different tools to mitigate this pest. So chemical control is one, which is the use of pesticides. Cultural practices is another one, pretty much pruning it can be, or you regulate the amount of fertilizer that you put in. One very important aspect of it is biological control, which is the use of living organisms against the pests. So you use other arthropods or not necessarily only arthropods, it can be fungi, it can be bacteria. You use other organisms to target these pests that you want to eliminate from your crop.
That are alive. So give us an example. So like, let's say we have the weevil. How did you guys control that? How would you control that from with that?
So the hibiscus bud weevil attacks the flower buds of the hibiscus. We did a lot of research in it, and we found that if we use entomopathogenic nematodes, which these are small animals, they look like worms, we call them nematodes. If we do a foliar spray application of these nematodes, the species is called Steninerma carpocapse, it's a specific species. This nematode can find the holes where the weevil has fed on these flower buds. It can enter, and then it finds the larvae that they are growing, and they are concealed. No spray can reach this larvae, right? Wow. So the nematode reaches, and it starts. It attacks them, and they have some bacteria that they transmit, and they make them sick. So they die, and they never develop. So this is the use of biological control. We are using these small worm-like organisms to control the hibiscus bud weevil.
That's crazy. So, yeah, so you're using one insect or a bacteria or something to go and combat what is existing there, because some places you can't spray chemicals. And then also chemicals are bad at the end of the day, many different ways. Not all of them, but there are a lot that are harming, and they have labels that you can't go in the property for a day, for 2 days after, which limits you. So using this method is very different than what I would say the common grower of plants, nursery owner, knows exists. Because we only know that, by the book is normally pesticide.
Yes, it is very environmentally friendly approach, and it is more sustainable. So the idea of biological control is you have your pest, you release the biological control agents, and we are very lucky to have several biological control companies operating in the United States that sell these products.
Wow.
And they have consultants that they can actually help you make the right decision based on the problem that you face.
Okay.
So the idea is you have the pest, you release the biological control agent, and this let's say if we use a predatory mite, this predatory mite is gonna go find the pest and start feeding on it. It is a live organism, so you're not gonna see the knockdown effect of a chemical. It's gonna take some days for the predatory mite to feed on your target pest, right? It's gonna take a few days, at least 4. But they will start feeding on it. And if you have made the right choice, they will also start reproducing. So the predatory mite, they will start growing their population. So they're gonna grow their population to a level that is gonna be even sometimes larger than the pest if you have timed the release appropriately.
Probably.
So they're gonna, at the end, control the pest. When the pest is depleted, if this is a mite, let's say a generalist, that you can give it some extra food, not a pest, pollen, they have some types of eggs, you can give to these mites this extra food to keep them on the crop. They're gonna be there the next time that the pest will re-emerge. So you have a standing army ready for you to battle a pest that sometimes you might miss when you scout, because you have thousands of plants. You cannot scout all thousands of plants, but if you have a biological control agent already established and be ready to attack to the pest, then you have another ally.
Yeah, you have an army, like you said. That's crazy, guys. Listen to what she just said. She basically said that you're getting another insect to go and battle against the other insect, and then it can overgrow its population to become bigger than the pest, And these organisms, they don't eat the plant, they eat the pest. So now you have an army. I don't know, that's crazy. That's a whole different way, because the way that traditional nursery grower is for the normal guy is, all right, I have these bugs, now I have to spray this. Let me go to my chemical place and see what they would recommend. And they always recommend a pesticide because that eliminates the problem faster. This is a different form. And this is very cool because I didn't know, or not that I didn't know, I never thought of that these guys can go into areas like we talked earlier on the podcast about the thrips being closed. How do you get in there? You send something out to go get them.
Yeah, these guys can do that.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Chemical control is still a very useful tool for the green industry that it cannot go away, and it shouldn't, because it guarantees that the plants are going to be pristine. What it is important is when you see the pest, you take a good count. How many individuals do I have? How big is this infestation? Is it like a tremendous problem that can only be solved with chemical control because you really need to bring down this pest? Or I just saw one or two in one or two plants. So if you find some pests, which is very normal when you cultivate thousands of plants, if you find only very, very little, small numbers of pests, you can consider alternatives to chemical control. And in these settings, when the pest population is low, in these settings is when biological control can be very effective.
So that's a way that you can get away, or a nursery grower can get away completely from even having to be on a weekly or a biweekly spray schedule, depending on what they're growing. It has a lot of variables, because if you're growing one plant, then you can do it. If you're growing 700 varieties, then obviously it might be a little bit different. But I see cost savings being a huge thing, because spraying in general is very expensive, from the tractor to the blower to the sprayer to the manpower to the payroll to insurance to problems to everything, and then what the chemicals cost in general.
The biological control agents are not all the time very cheap.
Okay.
Of course, it varies with the product and the range and the amount of release, right, and the range of the operation. But what happens is, if you manage to establish them or to use them, and you give them the opportunity to work, which means if you have sprayed or if you have applied biological control, you cut down a little bit on your chemical control to give them the opportunity to battle
go out there.
the pest, which means you're going to save a little bit from cutting down on the chemical control. In the short run, you might see a small increase in the finances because these are not cheap products. But in the long run, because you're going to be cutting down on chemical control and also on other practices, you might see actually a cost benefit of when you apply biological control. Certainly, the system becomes more sustainable. The people that work in the farms are not exposed to hard chemistry, so they can still go inspect the plants, pull out weeds, clean everything,
All the time,
and not be under the uncertainty: am I exposed to the chemicals? Will I be harmed? So definitely it has this benefit to human health, but also to the environment, which is important. And it will also give you, hopefully in the long term, a sustainable production of the ornamental.
wow, that's crazy. You think about it, you go down the rabbit hole, guys, of her niche, of what she does, and it's so powerful what she brings to the table, because we're taught one thing, right? But we only know what we know until we know something else. And then now it's like, they're battling things using live organisms, also chemicals, using all different ways that we don't even think of. And that's why like, you guys are so vital. What you guys do over there at TREC is so vital. You coming and loving and being so passionate about this is so vital. You're here for like a big purpose, a big reason. There's a reason why you sit in the chair that you sit in. And I can't wait to see what the future holds. And you guys want to be a part of it, you already know what you got to do. You reach out down below. And if you want to be a part of donating anything, there's just so much. There's so much. You are also doing other things that you're doing classes, right? You're doing classes online and also in person down here in Homestead, right?
That's correct. So my actual appointment split is I am dedicated 60% to research and 40% I'm dedicated to extension, which means that I want to train the stakeholders and anyone who is interested in to the research findings and trying to convey the message that we find in the lab in a simple way and in the way that they can be useful for the industry.
Okay. Well, that's very neat. So basically, all the information that you're finding, you're giving it away so people can benefit from. Here's 4 ways that we can help you today. Number 1, the Plant Movement Podcast. Guys, we all have something inside of our soul that called us to do what we're doing today or to get into what we're going to do. Come over here and pour it out on the mics. Number 2, A's Ornamental Nursery, guys. You're having trouble locating product or you're really trying to level up in the space, reach out, guys. We would love to talk to you. Number 3, if you need your product shipped throughout the state of Florida, guys, Plant Logistics is here. The drivers at Plant Logistics, guys, are professionals. They know how to handle your plants with care and get them there on time. Number 4, if you're looking to really level up and grow a better product, you already know, guys, thenurserygrowers.com. Check them out, guys. Without further ado, let's jump back into the podcast. How do the people that are listening today get in touch to be able to see a schedule of what days you're doing what? Or anything like that, what's up and coming? Where's that information at?
So when I plan an extension activity, I send emails to the industry. I also collaborate with extension agents to spread the word. We use social media, I use Facebook, I use Twitter, sometimes even Instagram to post the information there. And I make sure also to utilize the communication and marketing team of TREC so that the word reaches out to as many people as possible.
How do they get that information?
So the TREC account, the Tropical Research and Education account, always posts or reposts my posts, but I also have my personal pages that they are under my name, Alexandra Revynthi, and we make sure that both accounts are synchronized and they convey this message.
Okay, we'll put all that information down at the bottom. What I see very beneficial for that is like any nursery that has a grower on staff, I feel like should mandatory go to your class. Because why wouldn't we want to know from the person in the team that is appointed as the top or to get the information from? I feel like that's something that should be like routine. It should be normal. Do you guys get a lot of growers that go to these classes?
Yes, several. Actually, I would say the minimum number of people that we have per class is approximately 40.
Okay.
It has happened that we have given a class with more than 120 people.
Wow, that's amazing. No, but that's good because that's the impact that you guys and that's only the 120 people that need to soak up that information, but it's benefiting millions.
And that shows that the industry is...
Oh yeah, no, and it shows that the industry is very, very tight. We're a big industry, but we're small at the end of the day because we've all ran into each other.
If I can add something, we understand that people need to work, right? They are busy, they are in their nurseries, they need to do their job, so they might not be able to attend all the time. What we are trying to do, under my page at TREC, we have developed a tab that is dedicated to ornamental pests.
Okay.
So they can actually access information that we have given to these classes.
Okay.
And they have the time to go through it. And of course, if they have questions, we provide all the contact information so they can reach out to us with further questions and we can help them from there.
Okay, we need all that information. So we can put it, guys, we're going to have all this in the bottom. So just go to the bottom in the description part, you can get all that information. So that's very interesting. So I feel like, so it's very beneficial and anybody can attend this. Okay, so anybody listen, guys, even if you're not a grower, but you want to dabble into it, even if you want to just meet her or you want to get involved in this community, it's a great way to, because who who better than to be plugged up with the guys at the top by just going and being a part of it, asking questions. And they love this stuff. That you guys love this. This is your passion. So anyone that's passionate about what they do, if you ask them a question about it, they're gonna pour into you guys, and they're gonna educate you guys. Remember, they want the green industry to maintain its strength and also continue to grow. So, which is the extension part of what TREC is, which is a blessing. So that we even have that when we're in the motherland.
And is it free classes or you have to pay for these classes?
All of these classes are free.
Free.
There is only one big class that is 5 days class, and it's dedicated to acarology as a whole, which is a very specialized training. It's not necessarily tailored for ornamental plant production.
Okay.
That
It's
one
more
has
broad.
a chart. Yes, and that one targets. We try to target audience from students all the way to federal, county, and state agents, as well as people that work in the private industry, private sector, from biocontrol companies, chemical control companies. And this is a 5-day workshop
Wow.
that is dedicated to mites. And for that, we bring specialists from around the world, from different countries, and we charge for this. This is the only.
Oh yeah, because you gotta pay. They gotta pay to get over here.
Yeah, this
So
is
it
the
goes for
only
them.
one.
Okay. Wow, that's incredible. But guys, all this is free. All this information is there. I know one thing that we preach about a lot is the reach in the green industry as a whole. There's not a whole lot of, there's information, but let's say it's hard to find, or it's not right here in your face. That's another thing. It was like, it's very easy for someone to say, oh, I can't get the information anywhere. But it does exist. You just gotta know where to go. And this is where it is. And TREC, guys, is involved in, like she said, so many different things. She's in just one sector, in one laboratory, which I got to go in the other day for a few minutes. I got to walk TREC. I had never been to TREC, and we had that meeting there for FNGLA, which was awesome because I got to walk it with you. And thank you for doing that, because I had never done that before. And it's very interesting for me. I grew up out here, and I love this industry, and we have so much to do in the industry. So just to be a part of some place that's so monumental like that is very good. So now moving forward, the biggest issues that you see today that you're working on now to try to, take control over, or what?
Invasive pests in general as a category. The reason for this is that apart from the great financial impact that they have, either directly damaging the crop or indirectly with quarantines imposed, growers cannot sell their plants and then they lose money. Because of them, we start having a lot of pressures on old pests that we have already under control. They are there, but they don't impose such a big problem. But because when you have an invasive pest arriving, you need to take radical measures to put it down. You're trying to contain it, and if possible, get rid of it 100%. So the first line of defense always is chemical control, which is a great tool. But if it is not used in a smart way and in an appropriate way, that tool can backfire. And this is what we have been seeing the last 6 months, maybe even 9 months after the arrival of these thrips, the Thrips parvis pinus. Of course, people want to make it to shipment, right? So they need to spray intensively. This is a small insect. You cannot see it easily. You cannot take chances. So chemical control took over and displaced other practices that were in place. At the same time, it created a bigger problem with the spider mites, which they were there. They were a persistent pest, but there were good solutions for them available. But by spraying and spraying to target the thrips, the spider mites became a bigger problem, because either we were killing the natural enemies, or the growers will not be able to release biological control agents, or they became more resistant to pesticides.
To the pesticide. That happens a lot, right?
Exactly. So now they also have become a very large problem for the green industry. And this is the problem of the invasive, is yes, directly the new pest coming in and the lack of information on this new pest, but also the impact that it has on pests that we already have.
How can someone that wants to contribute and help out with the efforts of what you guys are doing, how can someone do that? Is there a way to do that?
Yes, and I think part of my job that I enjoy the most is that interaction that I have with the green industry. And there's a lot of feedback coming both ways.
Okay.
Because I am not there outside all the time. I cannot be, because I need to be in the lab doing other things. But this feedback, I saw this, I saw that, I've noticed this. This chemical doesn't work. This chemical seems to be working. This biological control agent does not establish. All this real-time, real-life experience that growers share with me are very useful for me in order to optimize the research and make it even more tailored to the nursery production.
Okay. Yeah, because they're taking the information that you're giving them, they're applying it, and then they're letting you know how it's working.
Exactly.
So you don't have to be out there.
Not all the time.
Yeah,
And
you can work.
And of course, I have been also very grateful to have the green industry as collaborators. They have been helping me a lot by providing plants and materials that they are necessary for the research. And whenever we need them, they are always willing to help. And without this support, I don't think we would be able to make the progress that we make.
Yeah, it's good. It's a very tight-knit community. We've had people come on the podcast that are not, let's say, in the horticulture space, and they're like, man, this industry is very tight-knit. You guys do things that other people wouldn't do in other industries, and that's what it is. We're like a family at the end of the day. We know how essential we really are all together and how powerful we are. So that being said, with all the information that you've gathered, your research, the people you've met, the classes, all of these things, what do you see for the future of our green industry? What do you see for the next 10, 15, 20 years when it comes to what you're doing?
Interesting question. I think it's going to grow more.
Meaning what? The industry?
The industry is going to grow more in size. We already see the trends, we see the numbers, the new census is out, and the green industry keeps on growing while the vegetable and the fruit crop industries are declining.
Okay. Down here.
Yeah, the urbanization in Miami-Dade County is becoming more and more dominant, and a lot of land is being sold for construction. But the green industry is an industry where it can make large profit in a small given space. And plus, the ornamental plants have a social aspect in them, like they are so much more than plants. They give happiness to people. They make them feel good. It's a way that you can express your love and affection during holidays or special occasions. They're not just plants for consumption. They're something above that. And I don't think people will stop buying these plants. And of course, we have them also in the gardens, in the landscape. So I can only see the industry growing. Of course, with the climate change and the change in the environment, we have already seen how the hurricane season has started shifting and the temperature rising. It might be more challenging growing certain crops, certain plants, but I think there will be the necessary adjustment for that.
Yeah, I feel like we'll always adjust, but that's very good. Thank you for that. And your mission, you as a doctor, what is your mission today?
To help the industry grow and overcome the obstacles. And this is what fuels me. That I love research. I really like what I do. I like the insects, I like the mites, but I feel like while I'm doing it, I don't do it for myself. I do it to help people that actually need this information. So I'm very happy for that.
Yeah, you're serving a big community in a big way that a lot of people in the industry don't even know you exist. They don't even know your position. Like, they might know your position exists, but they don't know you exist. So the fact that you came on today is something big. It's something big because now they get to see a face and they get to hear from a person that's appointed as a leader in the industry to be able to help so many people, nurseries and everything, even landscapers at the end of the day, because they have these issues in landscapes. And we have a bunch of buddies that's what they do. They fumigate. They have companies that'll do $2 million a year, and what do? They spray pests at houses and at communities. So it's very important what you guys do. The fact that you give it all away for free, the research is amazing. Thank you, UF, for that, and you guys. It really is something big. I would love to interview every single person at TREC because there's so many things, like we can learn about water and how important water is and what's in the water. We can learn about the soil and there's so much to learn. The classes that you give, we're going to put all the information down at the bottom, guys. Also, the article that they post up on her profile page on the UF, right? It's under your name there on UF. We're going to put that as well so you guys can look into that.
If people have concerns and they don't know where to turn to, I'm always happy to be that point of contact. I'm at the office very regularly, and if I'm not there via an email, I am very responsive. So at least they should know that there is somebody there out for them, watching out. But also the extension office is doing a great job and has several agents that they are willing to help them and provide them with first line of recommendations. I also feel like I need to mention that the support of the green industry towards my program, apart from donating plants and providing feedback, has also been monetary. They have donated several times money. They were very important funds in order to launch research on invasive pests until we would be able to receive appropriate funding through applications from various funding agencies. So the industry, apart from donating plants, has also donated funds in order to help us make progress fast.
And where could people donate?
People, they can donate directly to TREC or to my program. We also have fundraising, the One Night in the Tropics every year in November. There are ways to donate, and if someone is interested in doing so, we are always happy to provide further information and elaborate more on the options.
And this is all for the benefit of the green industry, because without this research, there's going to be problems that you guys are not going to be able to find solutions for without the doctors in the house.
The funding is super important, and they do a bunch of different things to be able to propel funding towards them so they can, buy what they need to be able to do what they do for us. There's a lot of different things. There's the Night in the Tropics, and there's ways that you guys can donate cash monetary as well. I've been in the meetings and I've brainstormed. I'm like, how can we create more funding? And I proposed in front of everybody, which was donate. Why? Like for me, I know that everything needs to operate as a community. And I know that if we want something to really be good, I feel like the community needs to get involved into it, meaning more people that are involved in that. And one of the things that I would propose was, why don't we all come up with asking let's say us, that we have nothing to do with TREC, but we're in the industry, asking our clients, hey guys, would you want to donate $1 to the research of, TREC for the greener, brighter future of the industry? And I almost guarantee that every single person will say, yeah, I'll donate $1. Like when you go to Publix or you go somewhere like that and they donate $1. And you get it doesn't sound like much, guys, but you get 1,000 nurseries in Florida to donate $5,000, and they just picked up $5 million. It's a huge impact. So that's why I say community needs to get involved on what that would be to be able to generate that amount of money. But it's very easy I see it as something easy. It just needs to be spread. The word needs to be spread. And if you guys want to do something like that, let us know, because we would love to get involved and actually start something. This is something that was brought up during a meeting with the FNGLA, but nothing's been done with it so far, but we can definitely kick it off.
Well, I can tell you that the Miami-Dade County is the largest ornamental producing county in the entire nation. Wow. So if you compare all the counties, California is the first state regarding ornamental production. Florida is the second. But when you look into the counties, Miami-Dade County is the largest ornamental producing county in the entire nation. What we have discovered with Dr. Zimbovu, who is the ornamental breeder at TREC, is that not necessarily everybody knows about how important is the ornamental production for the Miami-Dade County. So an alternative to funding acquisition will be to make your voices louder, help people from different states and different parts of the country hear you and tell them about the important job that you have and the important economic role that you play for the state of Florida, but also for the nation. I think this is something very important.
Yeah.
We have discovered that there are a lot of entities that they are aware about ornamental production in general, but they are not fully aware about the importance of the green industry here in South Florida.
Yeah, there's a lack of information in general that's broad, that's for the public to see. There are organizations that you can become members of, guys, like the FNGLA and stuff like that, where they can send you newsletters that also have stuff from TREC in them. But you got to be a member to do that, and you got to pay to be a member. There's not really that free for all information that's just fingertip touch and there it is, because it's an older industry. It's an older industry. So that's what we see. Like, the industry is just lacking the knowledge that people like herself are trying to give out for free. So the main issue that we're having here is the one thrip. What's it called again? The short spine?
Yes, we will call it the short spine.
It's going to be the
thrips.
short spine thrip, guys, what was known as the pepper thrip. Just so you guys know, it only attacks specific plants that are flowering, correct? It likes flowers.
Actually, we have seen in research, of course, we can find the adults on flowers, but they target the foliage. They are not flower thrips like
Okay.
the Western flower thrips. We will find them in the flowers, but primarily they attack the leaves.
Okay.
And this is where we see the
And
big
then
damage.
so the leaves, they crinkle up, correct? That's how we can tell that there's
Yes.
strips up inside there.
Especially the newly formed leaves that they are tender.
The new growth.
Yes.
You'll see them in there. And
Yes.
so if you guys see a leaf that is closed or starting to close, when you open up, they're little black. They're black, right?
Yes, they are black. They will see maybe black, but there might be some tiny little worm looking like that they are yellow. These are the immatures.
Those are the babies.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's basically what you're targeting. So when you think about it, think about how hard it is to apply spray, pesticide through spray application, and you have a closed leaf. You have a closed leaf with these guys hanging out in there. How do you get in there? So that's what's very tough. You guys, and I know we're backtracking, but the pesticides that are out there today, how do they attack that thrip? Is it something that goes systemically through the plant, that they eat the plant and now the plant basically has like a venom? Or is it that it needs to coat the actual insect? Because think about it from a sprayer standpoint. The leaf is closed. How do you get up in there?
So we are very fortunate that for the ornamental industry there are several pesticides available. There are numerous active ingredients that they belong to different classes, which means that they work in a different way. They can cause death to the pest in a different way. Thrips feed on the epidermis, so like the first layer of the leaves.
Of the leaves.
They don't feed on the vascular tissue of the plant like other pests. So the approach that is usually being followed is to use contact insecticides, and that might have some translaminar effect. So this is when the product does not only stay on the surface, but they can be absorbed by the leaves. So when another pest arrives inside the leaves, to put it in a very simple way, the pesticide might still be there. So when they feed, they can die. And of course, we have different pesticides that some work very fast. They have a knockdown effect. You can see the insects dying within 48 hours. But we might have some other very good pesticides that will require a longer period of time to cause the insects to die, but they might stop them from feeding. So they are also valuable. They have also pesticides that might stop the insects from reproducing. So we know that we stop the population from growing.
So you have to, it's like a mixture.
Yes.
Is basically, right?
And exactly. So this is, we go back to my point that chemical control is a very good tool, but you need to know how to use it. You need to be able to make the right decision at the right time.
We're learning a lot with what we're doing with the nursery growers. And what that is being able to go and even apply it for you where it's done properly. Because we know a lot of people don't read the labels. Guys, read the labels.
It's the law.
It's the law. Oh, that's funny. No, but it's very cool. So you got to basically mix it. You have 3 different chemicals to attack them in 3 different ways. That way, hopefully, you can eliminate them.
This is why we always recommend that the first thing that you do, the first step of the Integrated Pest Management program is monitoring. You need to know what you have on your crop and at which stage
They're at.
Exactly, so that you can make the right decision.
Yeah, because like what we've learned with the nursery growers, now that we're looking more into it deeper, is you have the eggs, you have babies, you have all these different things when they mate. All of this stuff has so much to do when you can come in and actually execute them.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn. Wow, there's so much to learn. We got to go to one of those classes, Eddie.
We're gonna have you come back in and
Yeah.
know different things about
Yeah,
different
and
things.
anything that you would want to talk about, we could be there with the camera, out there in the field, in the lab.
I want to address one of the questions that Eddie asked regarding like advice to the industry. Because the industry, the growers are there outside seeing the crop every day. Once they've noticed something that is out of the ordinary, something that is weird, something that they have never seen before, they need to reach out either to an extension agent or to me or to FTEX TPI. Because if it is something that is very weird that has never been seen before, might be a new invasive pest, and the faster we respond to those, the smaller the problem is.
Okay. Yeah, the faster you can create a solution. Guys, and she's not saying that because just in case. She's saying that because that's happened. That's happened, and it's happened where it's never been here before, and then it shows up and it just dominates.
Exactly.
Right? There's so much that goes into that. That's why I say that you guys' job is super important. It's the top. You guys are at the top. Yeah, because if not, we're just out here creating plants and shipping whatever anywhere, and we don't know really what goes on behind the scenes when it comes with ants, when it comes with pests, when it comes with soil mixtures that attack. But guys, I hope you learned something today. All the information is down below. Thank you so much for showing up and coming.
Thank you.
It was a blessing to have you. And like always, guys, stay tuned for the next one because you know it's going to be fire. We're going to continue bringing on people to educate all of us in the green industry so we get that much better, that much more refined. All right, salute to all of you guys. We love you. God
Time for
bless
the
you guys.
blueprint.
Let's go.
Minds to elevate, thrive, and demonstrate, planting a movement. Sow the seeds, educate the flourish, building up the team. Our network with purpose, industry is green. Only scratch the surface, know this calling is deep. Nobody gonna outwork us. Yeah, we chasing greatness, trying to give the code. Moving up with patience, foundation stone. Doing what it takes, we're here to break the mold. This for anyone who wanna level up. Let's grow.